win or lose, it will be a good fight. It takes two. It takes two. You'll see me doing everything I can do to make it a good fight. And even that's with my prediction of Stephen Costello turning into a wrestler overnight. That's what I think it's going to happen. But we'll see if he can do better than other wrestlers have tried.
First of all, introducing our challenger.
Out of the blue corner. He's going to step in and he does. It's all over.
Let's bring on the boom.
This is Eternal MMA.
All right, everyone, welcome back and thank you for joining us here once again on another edition of the Eternal Insiders Podcast. We are powered by Fight HQ, the official uniform partner for Eternal MMA. Here I was thinking as early as late last night that my promotional aspect for this card had just about wrapped up. But at the bottom of the ninth, the man in which this card was built around finally gets back to me on the DMs, in and around his busy schedule, and he says, hey, how about a chat? And at that point, you drop everything you're doing, you forget the TV sports, you put your pants back on, you say, how about a chat indeed? So without further ado, the man in the main event, Perth's finest himself, competing for the interim welterweight title at Eternal 89, Mr. Aldin Bates. Pleasure to have you back here on the show, man. It's been a little while. How are things with you, man?
First of all, thank you very much for having me, Luke. Apologies about all the delays, mate. It's been crazy this last week, from obviously fight prep, tickets, people dropping out, just some craziness going every left, right, centre. But thank you for getting this sorted today over the line. But yeah, everything's good my side, mate. Yeah, really good. It's good to speak to you. And it has been a little while, hasn't it?
It has been a little while. Only for you, Aldin, man. Like I said, we're on your time. I'm not going to pretend to understand what it's like to have your schedule, getting back to everyone about getting tickets and everything. I've just got to sit here and do these little bits and pieces. So I'm happy to do this, brother. It's undoubtedly the biggest fight of your pro career coming up. We're only 2 days away, man. So very close. How's everything going with you? Tell us about how the emotions are for you in another title fight. This is your city. This is Perth. How are we feeling?
Amazing. Best of my life. I say it before, I say it again. Training's gone perfect. Injuries has gone amazing. Normally, there's a few niggles now and about in the last few weeks, but body is in absolute peak condition. My cardio, endurance, sparring on point. Everything has gone amazing. Outside of the gym, inside of the gym, everything. Absolutely. I couldn't change it. I wouldn't change anything in the world with this fight. And like you said there, biggest fight of my life by far, because this could lead on to some really big stuff now with what's happened as of late in Australia. So there's a lot on the line now. This is over 10 years of fighting pro, going into 25 minutes of war. So I'm excited, mate. I'm excited. Good opponent, very, very rough and ready, tough lad. Coming from Dublin, coming from the rough ends of Dublin. It's a good fight. It's a good matchup. I'm happy it got put together. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy it's all got done. I was just speaking to some people. I'm saying to the people that obviously I know Stephen's in Perth for about a week, I think. I just said, make sure you get into the fight. I don't care how his flight is, how his hotel is. I'll fucking pay for his hotel if I have to. Just make sure he gets there. And there's no excuses from either end. We go to war on Saturday night, 2 days, day and a half, 2 days time. Biggest war of my life.
Let's get it, brother. Sounds like you've got an itchy trigger finger and you're ready to go in there and put hands on someone. I absolutely like it. You just talked a bit about your preparation there too. Now, it's no secret you're a very large human being, a finely tuned athletic machine, as it were. I've seen that strength and conditioning program of yours, man, and it looks hectic. It's no wonder you're in such good shape. But like, how are you finding sort of like, everything, given the sort of your sizing and given the hard work you put in, how are you finding everything from the weight cuts these days? I mean, you'd be right on top of that right now, sort of leading in. You said you're feeling good. I can only imagine the weight cut and everything's feeling good too.
Amazing. I'm blessed to be working with one of the best teams in Australia, with the shredded HQ down in Osborne Park, Scarborough, with Kelly and all the team there. Everything is tracked and monitored, all data. I'm there 4-5 days, mornings a week, every day, pretty much 5 days a week, 5 a.m., getting smashed, absolutely smashed, to the point where And it's not just a typical strength and conditioning. We're working on mobility. We're working on strengthening ligaments. A lot of stuff. I've done strength and conditioning for years. I've been in the gym since I can remember, since over 15 years. I've been crunching weights and being in and around gyms, from playing football in the youth to fighting, kickboxing, MMA. I've always been in the gym, but this is different, where we're training the stuff, parts of your body that it all adds together. We're always making up the small parts that make the end product unbeatable, like unbreakable. Like, not only our thing in the gym is we're not here to win, we're here to dominate. We're going to dominate the scene. So yeah, even in my experience and all that type of stuff, in my age, I'm the strongest and fittest I've ever been. It's incredible. It blows me away sometimes. Obviously, we do fitness tests, we do body fat calibrations twice a month, once a fortnight, and we track it. So I don't believe how fit and strong I am, and until I see the data, until I see the testing we do. And then, all thanks to Shredded and Kelly and all them for that side of it. And the weight cut is on point. It's one of the best on tracking over the last week or two. It's one of the best weight cuts hopefully will ever be. So even now that I've been cutting weight, I've been fighting at 77 kilos for 8-9 years. So it's no shock. It's just more your body changes, just adapting to the changes. But now weight cut should be good. I'm on, tracking good.
You're looking in incredible shape, man. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a time that I don't think I've seen you in such incredible shape. As you said, for 37 years of age, just quietly, so am I. I'm not in your kind of shape, but you're giving the guys like me hope that there's something we can kind of build upon here, man. So you're inspiring, the guys in the late 30s that there's something we can certainly achieve there. Maybe not inside the cage, but certainly athletically for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always hope, Luke. There's always hope for everybody. That's one of the main things now. That's one of the biggest drives. Is not just fighting and winning championships and earning money from a family. It's showing the boys that we grew up with, and like yourself and other people, that anything is possible. Until you see it being done, you sometimes don't believe it. But I'm up every day, 5 a.m., strength conditioning, running, lifting weights. I go to work and then I train again in the evening. Got a young family that takes a lot of time and stuff. So it's a busy life, but I'm like I said before, I'm very blessed. I couldn't be happier. I was having a conversation with someone today. I think if I won the lottery right now, if you put $2-3 million into my bank account, not much would change in my life. I think I'd have a new car. That's about it. I maybe go on another holiday, maybe, but fitness, health is the key to life by far. If you can, and as I am now, as I'm the fittest and strongest I am, and one of the best fighters in the country, I want to put it on display and show people that you can do anything you want if you're willing to put the time and the effort in. Nothing's easy. Nothing. Being overweight, being lazy, being broke, having no money, it's still hard. Me sleeping 4 hours a night, up at 5 every day, up at 4 every day, in the gym at 5 every day, working 10 hours, training on the evenings, is hard. So you choose the hard you want. What do you want to do? You want to be a fucking whinging, miserable bastard and just whinge all the time, or just get on with it and just work? So, Luke, there's anything you want, you can do, mate. Anything.
I'll stop whinging immediately. I love your story, man. Such an inspiration. Like I said, look at you winning in life. I love the story that if you had those extra millions of dollars, wouldn't change too much for you. It must be such a nice position to be in mentally as well as physically, man. I can certainly appreciate that for sure. Now, you, speaking of your career, you opened up your pro career. If we go back to the start, you started 5-0. I think you knocked everyone out at that part of your career.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a rocky patch where you tasted defeat in 3 of your next 4. A bit of a competitive gap between 2020 to 2023, but we arrive at this point now. We're on a very healthy 3-fight winning streak with a pro win and with the title win in your last fight with a finish leads us into this interim welterweight title fight at Eternal E89. What do you think sort of been the key to recapturing some of that sustained success that you realised in the early part of your career as you enter this phase of your career now?
So I don't recall having 3 back-to-back defeats. First of all, I don't know where that's
No. You had 3 out of 4.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Three, there's not back to back.
Not
Just
back
get it
to
right.
backs.
Back
No.
to back. But and even with that, just to quickly clarify all of that, which is wins, losses. You'll see my fighting styles never changed. My attitudes never changed. But within all of that stuff, and there's always excuses now. I'm about to give you excuses and tell you that I'm not going to give you excuses. But COVID, changing gyms, full knee recon. There's stuff in there where it's not just you've just lost. And I heard on one of the interviews, hiatus. He went missing for 2 years. Oh no, I fucking had a full knee reconstruction and had a baby. It's not. I went missing. I was still in the gym. I've got videos of me being in the
just
gym.
Drop off the face of the map or anything like that.
Yeah. I'm still in the gym every day. I trained more with my knee and a cast from my thigh to my ankle every day. Still, I look like a bit of a fucking triangle because I just could train upper body, but like I still train. So yeah, free. Forgot your question there, but yeah, I've lost a few fights, and even that, the losses. Quickly, just to touch on it, because fighters will egotistical. I want to just clarify this. My first loss was to Kit Campbell after fighting Nick Ward on a fucking brutal fight 4 weeks later. So at that time, because obviously you wasn't working with Eternal then, Luke, I took out the number one in WA that no one wanted to fight, knocked him out badly, and that was the worst fight I won, and I've never been in such a worse state with fractured hands and cussed. And I flew over to Melbourne 4 weeks later and fought Kit Campbell.
Yeah, for context, that was March 5 to March 31. So like not even really 4 weeks. Like really, like
it wasn't. I can promise you now, and it's no excuse. There's no excuse, but it's a lesson to people, to maybe the younger generation or up and coming fighters. You don't have to take every fight. Don't take every. I was just fucking dick out the front thinking I'll knock everyone out I was going to knock everyone out in Australia. I'm going to knock everyone out in America. I'm going to dip over to Europe, knock everyone out there. But when you concuss and even though you've won the fight, people go, yeah, you won. I couldn't throw a punch. I couldn't stand. I was a mess. So don't get me wrong, Kit Campbell's a murderer. I love his fighting style. I love him as a fighter. And I want that rematch back in at least half of the capacity that I could be in. So that's one loss. Della, obviously Jack Della, fucking phenom of Australia, of the world. That's another loss. That's another thing. No fights in between. That was after the 2 years off. And then to come back and fight the best in the country, one of the best in the world, is a mistake again. But
I mean, that made you guys 1-1, mind you, too. So
1-1, yeah, that's the key. I've just watched our rematch the other day. I chat to Jack a little bit now, and everyone I speak to just says how much of a beautiful guy he is, and it's I just had in my head. I build things up in my head, and you're this and you're that, and I'm going to smash you, I'm going to break you, I'm going to destroy you. And then people talk to me about Jack, and now he's a real nice guy. I'm like, fuck, it doesn't work. But I've built up in my head. But anyway, that fight we first had, it was a fucking good fight. It was back and forth, very good fight, where just back and forth fight. I was 2 fights, he was 1 fight. Age difference, but not fight experience. I keep hearing stuff like, he's so much. Jack was the wrong time for him and all that stuff. We were both new guys. I recently moved to Australia. I was backpacking, for God's sake. So don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from him because he's savage. And then when I came for the rematch, he done what he did. He's absolutely staunch. Yeah.
Well, you were only 2-0 at that point too, so you're at the beginning of your pro career too. Yeah.
Exactly. And I wasn't. Yeah, same thing. When I beat him, anyway, it's a good fight. And then the third fight, which is a good fight because I probably forgot his name now. Bloody wrestler. Fuck, what's his name? It's the third loss. Owen Burson. What's his name? Glenn Pettigrew, yeah, beast, Glenn Pettigrew, but just wrestle fingered you the whole time and had no intention to stand. Which is fair enough. It's MMA, isn't it? I get it, but he just threw me because he would stand up in a lot more of his fights. So he just threw me, and there's a few things whatever in the camp. But so yeah, 3 losses, but three losses to 3 of the best in the country. So where I am now, I'm happy. Still, the fighting style's the same, the training's the same, the mentality's the same. I'm very happy. Them 3 guys are savages. If I fought any of them 3 now, it'd still be a war. It'd still be tough. It's not going to be. It wouldn't be easy, win or lose. They're 3 hard, very tough men. So Yeah. So when we talk losses, and the only thing that's done, it's just made me more hungry and more. I want to get to the top. I want to provide my family with more money from fighting. Fighting right now is just, it takes away a lot of stuff. But when you start earning more, bigger paychecks, then you can start to repay all the years you put in. But either way, I'm happy. Yeah, it's a good fight. And I've seen a few of Stephen's interviews this morning talking about blueprints and how you lose and stuff like that. There's no way he's knocking me out. So he's going to shoot from the other side of the cage for fucking as long as he can. He's going to just turn into an absolute wrestler. I guarantee it. We know he's going to do that. So yeah, let's see how it goes. See how you blast double, you switch stance, blast double. See what happens when it comes. It's not as if we're not watching tape and prepared. So yeah, let's see how the fight plays out. I think it's a very good matchup.
It's an incredible matchup from a couple of different points of view. I think it's cool because a couple of the storylines are like, it is obviously very, like, technically it's an all international main event. Of course, you originally being from the UK, Stephen coming over from Ireland. I know how popular you are in your adopted home city of Perth, but I mean, the last time when I was over there watching you fight in Perth, when you fought against John Varkey, I mean, a lot of UK fans there too. I don't know if they live and reside in Perth, but they come over especially for you. But you got quite a following over there as well. So, I mean, I can only imagine what that fight would be like in the UK, as far as like how we know how good the UK and Irish fans are. But you add that into Perth as well and the following you have over there. It's very exciting. It's going to be an explosive main event, especially from an emotional standpoint for the fans.
Yeah, 100%. And you're exactly right with what you're saying. But it's not even the UK. Is a big one, Ireland a big one, but it's not just, and Perth is a big one. Obviously, I've lived here for 8-9 years now. It's not just where you're from, and I don't forget where I'm from for 1 second. I know exactly where I'm from. I know all my heritage and all my family and all my parents, but it's the style of fights. I think it's the way you are. There's casual fans. I've been in the crowd many times. I've been in the UFC crowds. I've been in, and you get the casual fans shouting some funny stuff. I don't mind it. I think we're paid to fight. These people are paying money. People want to see a good fight. That, like, you could watch the world title fight. You could watch the best fighters in the world. But if it's a boring fight, it's a boring fight. So it's not even that I'm trying to go, I want fight of the night. I want to make it exciting. That's just my personality. That's just I enjoy fighting. I'm not fighting for points. I don't care. If I beat you on points, beat Varkey on points, I would have rather have knocked him out. I would have rather have been old school Japan bloody days where you do one more round and go, fucking, let's have it. One more round. It's a fight. Let's go. Fuck the judges. Go home. Let's fight. So I don't want to lose on points. I always want to win or lose. You knocked out or you knock someone out or you finish them, you submit them, or however you finish them. That's what people pay to see. That's when I watch fights. That's what I pay to see. I think if you look at the biggest promoter in the world, one of Uncle Dana, you know that's what he wants to see. That's what he's been vocal about from day one. So boring fights. Look at the boys in Australia recent. They both got drops from the contender. And I'm not saying it was a boring fight, but that's just not what he wants. So it's tough. You need to be exciting. It's a business. If you're not putting bums on seats, what are you doing? What are you doing? You want to be. Yeah, and it depends as well. You pick your favorite fighters, don't you? Like, if you pick favorite fighters, if you said to me who's better, Khabib or Justin Gaethje, I'd go Justin Gaethje all day. I'd pay my money to watch Justin Gaethje fucking sparring over Khabib fighting a world title. That's just what I would prefer. But what do you think, Luke? What do you think about the fight, the matchup, the style? How do you think the fight's going to play out?
Oh, what, you want me to make a prediction here on the show?
Yeah, of course.
Oh man, I can't do that. I'm a company man. I can't be throwing out any predictions like that. All I can say is that I am genuinely incredibly excited for this one. I mean, I know what you bring to the table, especially as you said, you've watched a couple of interviews with Stephen and what he thinks you're sort of going to bring. I've had the privilege and the pleasure of seeing you live and in person, and it's a lot scarier than what it is behind the TV, sitting cage side and seeing what you're sort of all about. I think I was actually, the unfortunate side of that was I didn't get to see one of your finishes, because 8 of your 9 wins have come by way of finish. And the only fight that you haven't finished for your wins, I was there for, but it was still an incredible performance nonetheless. So if you want a prediction, all I'm going to say is that there's no way that this isn't an incredibly entertaining fight because you're in the main event, because you're the A side of this one here. Stephen coming over for a home game for yourself. That's as much as I'll say. But either way, I think we're in for a treat.
Sit on the fence a little bit there, Luke. Sit on the fence a little bit. I like your professional businessman. No, it's fair enough, mate. I completely get it. And you're right as well. Win or lose, it will be a good fight. It takes two. You'll see me doing everything I can do to make it a good fight. And even that's with my prediction of Stephen Costello turning into a wrestler overnight. That's what I think it's going to happen. But we'll see if he can do better than other wrestlers have tried.
I'll say this. I've never bet against you, Aldin, and I don't see this fight going the distance. So read into that what you will. Okay, so
that's fair.
Silly to bet against you, that's for sure. You just mentioned there too, obviously talking about it's fighting in Perth, and just before we round up, just talking about the fight itself and what it kind of means for the rest of your career. Given how long you've lived in Perth now, I think you said 8 or 9 years, originally coming over from the UK. You're sort of one of the OGs on the scene as far as fighting regionally in Perth, fighting back as early as 2014. I think 2015 was the first time you competed for Eternal MMA. You've sort of seen the sport kind of grow through its phases up until this point in your career, still at the top of the scene. Given that you've sort of been in around, like we said, 10 plus years now that you've been fighting as a pro, compared to sort of what it was back in Perth, especially Perth back then, how much has this sort of grown in your eyes, given that you're sort of right there in the scene? Like, what's sort of the difference, and can you sort of quantify how much that growth has been since the start of your career to now?
Great question. I have been here from the beginning. I fought 3 fights in a ring in the Italian club, in a fucking boxing ring. So when I'd had my first pro fight in the UK, I came out here on holiday, backpacking on holiday, partying in Sydney, partying in Melbourne, moved to Perth, started training again. Offered a fight, whatever, I'll fight, whatever, in a ring. I'm like, what are you talking about? And when I got here, the cage had been banned. I think it was like the year I moved to Australia, the actual cage enclosed octagon got banned in WA. And I was kind of thinking, what are you talking about? How can you ban the cage? But even then, the guys, say Eternal, all the promotions in Australia were doing the best they can. Eternal were leading the way by far back then, because they were just ahead of everyone. I think they were really the only guys, the only show in town. But it's incredible how far it's come, and the same guys have been there from day one. The sport has taken off in Australia. Australia as a whole, as a country, it's just a badass country where it's like I explained to my mates in the UK, it's just easy going, cool. If you're a dick, you're going to be called out for being a dick. Everyone's just live life. You're good to each other. It's just a cool place to live. So that's why MMA is so big in Australia, because MMA is fucking cool. It's like, who doesn't want to see 2 men fight in a cage, have a couple of beers, and it's the best. Obviously, sport, competition, it's number one. I get it, martial arts, but to fight, we're there to fight. I'm more of a fighter than I am a martial artist. So you want to people pay to watch me fight, and I'm going to fight, and I'll give you everything I have trained and learned. So the changes in MMA in Australia is so incredible, especially Perth. Perth fans they love it. Same as me, I love it, and people they appreciate hard work, and then they can come and see you display all the hard work you've done. So it's great. Like I say, fighting in a ring, I've seen people falling out of the ring. I've seen people getting punched over the ring. I've seen someone get held down under the bottom ring of a boxing ring and get punched over the top.
Jesus
and
Christ.
The ref just stood and watched it, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. But where it is now with like the promotion, even you guys now with all the socials and the promotion side of it, the UFC Fight Pass, it's a lot of time and money. So I understand, we've been a bit older, I understand the business side of it a little bit more, where it takes a lot of time, for fighters, for promoters. It's not just an overnight ticket. You're going to start making money. It's a long time, and it's a Hopefully you win. Hopefully you don't. You could do everything in the world possible. You're staying in, you're not drinking, you're training every day, your diet's on point. Everything's perfect, and you can still lose fights. You could walk in and get knocked out in the first round. It's so hard to do knowing that, but then it's also so rewarding because we're gonna lock two grown men, big, strong fucking guys into a cage, and they're gonna fight they're not fighting to the death, but in my head it is to a degree. You're trying to take away from me what I've built over 10 years of hard work and blood, sweat and tears, and you're trying to steal that from me. So without trying to actually kill you, I'm trying to kill you. That's how it is in my head. So promotion's amazing. It's incredible what they've done. I'm proud. I'm proud to Ben, Cam. I speak to you, Ben. Even me and Ben have had up and down over the years. Always business. Always a solid businessman. Whether you like him or not, business is business. The people I do business with now that you maybe don't like, but it's different. You take your emotion out of it. You've got a product. I've got a product. Let's make this product and see what we can get out of it.
I mean, everything you just said there really just highlights the fact that there's no stakes higher in any other sport in the world than there is mixed martial arts, especially considering what you said as far as training for months on end, staying in, getting off the piss, preparing for everything that's essentially setting yourself up for the next part of your career. And you come into the fight and it can be over within inside 10 seconds, and it's a big reset, and you don't get to show who you are again for another couple of months after that. It's not like footy. It's not like cricket where the game's over and you're playing baseball the next day. There's nothing like it in the world. There's just sort of so much on the line. And especially for someone like yourself who just said, you're a fighter before you're a martial artist. And that's why you're such a fan favorite, because you go out there and you put it on the line every single time. 8 out of your 9 wins have come by a way of finish, 89% finishing record. This is why you're on top of the bill, man, coming in to fight for another title. Now, an important part of your story, of course, is you're just coming off a title win in a fight outside of Eternal MMA. Now, an important part of that piece is the man that you fought and won against as early as March this year has since gone on to earn himself a contract with the UFC via the Contender Series. Deservedly so. It was an incredible performance from himself. Yeah. But I'm curious to know what you think that means for this sort of stage of your career, given that you're coming in fighting for another title, given that you just beat a man for a title who just got signed to the UFC. You're an interesting part of your career. Like we've said, 37 years of age, but you're still looking like you're in your prime. All these sort of things considered, and especially if you come away with another title at October 26th for Eternal 89, what do you think this does for the next part of what you want your career to be?
You've got to get the shout. You have to get the call. Surely, there's nothing else I can do but win fights. I've got some very high level guys around me, and they're saying, "You're next. You're next." And I don't want to think about it too much because I've got a hard man in front of me. So watch this stage. I feel like there's going to be some big fights in the new year coming up, whether one of the big promotions is just trying to make sure what's right for them, what's right for us, to make the right decisions now. Like I said, I'm a little bit older and I'm not desperate to make any rash decisions. So, like he's just said then, I knocked a guy out in March 6 months ago. He's in the UFC now. I don't know how that works. But to me, he was already set to be on the UFC before that fight. I was there to lose, which is a bit like obviously what some people might say Stephen's there for. You're there to lose. But look what happened. Dono never expected. There was votes on that fight. 97% of everyone that voted said he was going to win. And I understand, because he's a tough lad. He's a tough lad, phenom. Good looking fucking rooster. He's got everything. I've knocked him out in March. Like what more do I need to do? If I knock this guy out, what's next? Who else do I have to knock out to get a call from one of the biggest promotions? Someone tell me what I need to do. I'm 37. I've got a few 3-4 years in me. That's maybe 10 fights. You give me the best guys in front of us, and that's another position I'm in. I don't pick and choose fights, but I want the good fights. There's not many people go, give me tough guys. And it's easier said than done. The old, I'll fight anyone anytime. Yeah, great. If you've earned your stripes and you've put it in and it'll be a good fight, then let's fight. But the fights that I'm having now could be on one of the big shows. And the difference is fight to fight, a bit more media, a bit more promotion, just that you're getting paid. I look at it as we're prize fighters, whether you want to say legacy and title holders and you're a champion and everything I've done now, I've achieved a lot, but I want to be paid for what I'm doing. Otherwise it's just an expensive hobby. So yeah, I feel like a good win Saturday night, a good win. It'd be nice, let's say, fucking highlight reel, spinning heel kick, wicked. Fucking UFC One Championship, PFL, let's go. So I'm not done by all means. I am looking to go to the next stage in my life, in my career. So let's have some big fights. There's loads of guys, these big promotions that I watch and go, I would knock you the fuck out so fast. And I get it. It's a business again. They've got a business. They promote people. They don't want me to come in and just start staunching all their guys they've put money into. That little Frenchy fucking Giuseppe. He'd be dead. I'd put Giuseppe away in a round. Easy. There's a few of them. There's a few. He always comes straight to my mind because he's just boring personality, boring person. I'd knock him out and it wouldn't even be that impressive. It'd just be like, whatever. I've fought way harder people than you, but there's a few people in there. There's a few names in there that I just think, yeah, you'll see. Like, say, Jono will have a good career. Look at what Della's done. I've beat both of them guys. Like, what do you have to do to get the call? Except for reverse father time and roll back 5-6 years, I'd be there by now. I would be there because I wouldn't have all the life commitments that I have. But the life commitments is finance. I need to do what I do to pay for my life. So I don't remember your question again, rambling on, but
that's right.
Yeah,
I mean,
I want to knock him out and get the call up. And even if I don't knock him out, you'll see me trying from the beginning to the end to do so. And that's what I've done all the time. That's what I'll always do. Get the call. You don't get the call. That's what I'm about.
I mean, I think that's how we package it right there. I mean, you said that you reckon you've got another 3 years left in you. You're 37 years of age. I reckon you've got +5, maybe 10 at a stretch. I mean, you're 37 years old, but given the shape that you're in and how good you're looking, man, I can only imagine you're feeling like you're 27 years old. I don't think there's too many men in the world that are looking good and feeling good as you are at the age of 37, man. And you're right. I mean, you're such a warrior in the cage. That's how we package it. We get the call up from the guys at the UFC or the other promotions. Hey, I'm coming in. I'm knocking dudes out. I've got an 89% finish record. Maybe we make it 9 out of 10 finishes and we take on Stephen Costello in the main event this weekend and give us a couple of fights. Let's get out there and put on a show. Maybe it's here in Australia. Maybe it's back over in the UK. I think there's so many cool things that we could do for you. How much more can the man do inside this country? He's done sort of so much. There's so much tantalizing options on the horizon. I mean, we've got Lockie Stitt as the current welterweight champion. Who knows what the future holds there if you become the interim champion. But I mean, hey, the book's wide open. Let's go ahead and get this win against Stephen Costello. Huge main event, October 26th in your adopted home city of Perth, Western Australia. It's your city. You're the man at the top of the billing. Let's go out there and put on a show for the fans, and let's see what comes next for you, man. And I appreciate your time here, brother. We'll wrap it up, but it's a pleasure to have you back, man. I'm glad we got you back on the show. Always great insight from yourself. Anything before I let you go, my man?
No, that's it, mate. Thank you very much, Luke, for the time there. Still tickets for the fight.
Yes.
They're selling very fast. I know there's still tickets going. We've got tickets at our gym at the Wolves Den. Flick me a DM or just come down to the gym. They're behind the desk. We've got new fighter tees out as well. If you're coming down, you want to support. Some brand new fighter tees done by Engage. Just got delivered on Monday. So, and that's the thing. I've always had brilliant support. So I want to say thank you to everybody from the tickets to the shirts to the sponsors to the coaches. It's like I try and give back as much as I can. I give my heart and my blood and my tears. So thank you to everyone that supports, and I'll keep going. I'll keep going until I can't, which is going to be never. You keep going, you just keep going. So thank you for all the support, everyone. Come grab your tickets. There's still a few tickets on sale. We've got 2 days now. Tickets, shirts, get involved.
Couldn't have said it better
myself.
myself.
In the car. So yeah, I'm gonna be 77 kilos by the end of this interview.
Yeah, they got a little bit of a sauna going in there, man. So we're doing preparation from the media perspective and from the weight cutting perspective. I love
there you
it.
Go.
Man. I love it. Couldn't have said it better myself. Tickets at eternalmma.com. Get down to the gym, get down to Wolves Den and get yourself some tickets. Pick yourself up a nice shirt there. The Jamaican Warrior, Aldin Bates at the top of the billing, October 26th at the HBF Stadium in Perth, Western Australia. Killer main event representing the UK and Australia in the Wolves Den. Look at the size of those muscles there, just about as big as mine. I don't want to get in the cage with this man. He's a wild man. If you're not going to be there at the event, at the HBF Stadium, live and exclusive on UFC Fight Pass. There's nothing bigger than Eternal MMA on UFC Fight Pass. Make sure you're tuning in. Thank you very much for your time again, Aldin. All the best. Let's see if you come away with this title this weekend. And we'll do it all again, get you back on the show, talk about the big win, and we'll talk about what's next for you in your career.
Let's do it, Luke. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.